What is the Build Your Foundation course? Hi everyone, I am Caitlin Rosier, licensed architect and owner of mentorDINO and creator of Build Your Foundation. So I wanted to explain to you guys why I created this course to begin with, but in the broader standpoint, why did I even take the time to start mentorDINO? mentorDINO is meant to empower the architect, engineering, and construction industry through innovative solutions addressing multifaceted gaps of knowledge. Our commitment is to elevate the entire profession by fostering a holistic and collaborative environment. The Build Your Foundation course focuses on the particular gap of hard skills and human skills. The Build Your Foundation course is for professionals that are starting out their career and are adjusting between academia and the practice side of architecture. This course is meant to not only help with goal setting, but help professionals understand teamwork, starting to understand where to get delegated work from, how to coordinate with their teams, and so on. So how do I do this? How is this course created, and what is it meant to do? It is meant to be a tool set. A tool set that a professional can start to gain tools to put in their box and be able to grab tools at different moments as they need them. The course itself can be put together as an onboarding technique for firm leaders and firm ownership, learning to expand on their onboarding process to build those human skills and start giving them different tools ahead of time. So the course is meant to be able to give you those items to get rolling, but with unlimited access to the recordings, you can always go back into the tool chest and grab a tool at any time. And what is this meant to do? It's meant to help you create dynamic, collaborative, and engaging teams in your office. Being able to work together as a team to build the great architecture that we do for the world. And if you just focus on the technical skills, you're missing out on a whole nother arm that you need to build to be able to have a collaborative team, to have fun. So how exactly did I do this? It's all about starting recordings like this. So this is a little snapshot of me working on the Foundation to Leadership course, but I did a similar thing for all of the courses to be able to educate professionals at any time of day or night that works for them. Some professionals like that on-demand training as they need. Some professionals want to build up that toolbox ahead of time and go back to it later. And some like to study early in the morning, on their lunch break, or in the evening. And by me making recordings, they can look at it at any time. There is no need for you to schedule expensive live training that people will understand and then forget in an hour. This training is for you, for your staff, to be able to get ahead and be able to resource in the future. What is the Build Your Foundation course? So I'm going to dive in and show you guys what this looks like. So after purchasing the course, this is what the student window will look like. You have the general outline of the course. I let you have access to all the sessions up front. I do recommend going in order for your first time through, and the welcome and introduction section includes an actual schedule. The Build Your Foundation course is meant to be part of onboarding, so somebody's first 90 days. There are little homework assignments and challenges throughout the course, so I do break it up so then you can take your time through this process and be able to practice and do the challenges along the way. The sections are also broken out into smaller chunks, so then it is a little bit easier for you to fit 15-20 minutes of time here or there. Now there are some sections that do take a little bit more time. I think the feedback section is the longest, closer to an hour, that you will have to take some time to be able to go through that section, but there are small breaks just in case you do need to take a pause. But it's easy to fit in between meetings, in the beginning of the day, end of the day, hit a session during your lunch break. It is there for you. Once a session is complete, the circle will be filled with a checkbox If a circle is only half filled, that means you are only partway through that session, so you know where to go back and check out where you've been. And you also have a completion bar, so you know how far you are along the course itself. In the course, there will be view windows, all recordings, general presentations, and this one is a quick snippet from the goal setting section, which for a young professional, I actually use the architecture registration exams and getting licensed as explaining the goal setting process and having short, medium, and long-term range goals. So this is great for those young professionals looking to study for their exams, that I can help them go through and be able to start tackling the exams themselves. Now, the course is meant to be able to understand the road. If you don't know where you're going, how do you know where to begin? The course itself is about creating that road for young professionals, so then they have that road to drive on. And they can come back to any of these courses when it's time to figure out, hey, hitting that yellow goal marker, I need a refresher on where to go. A lot of the times we use maps to be able to find destinations that we've been to before. We know that the destination exists. We generally know how to get there, but we may forget some of the turns along the way. And that's why the course is also available with unlimited access. So you can understand there's a road, you understand that marker ahead that you're trying to get to, but you need that refresher to be able to understand where you are going. Then jumping into the particular areas, so the course is broken up into 3 sections: a personal section, teamwork section, and organizational section. The personal section, we're going to talk about building yourself up as a professional. We're going to talk about self-discipline in the industry, because it does take discipline and dedication to be an architect, engineer, designer, or contractor. We're going to talk about empathetic listening. Listening is such an important skill in the industry that we don't spend enough time practicing, but you also need to look at it from an empathetic lens. And so I will walk you through those steps. Learning, everybody finds it fun that I have learning in here. You've already gone through K through 12, you've likely gotten an education from a college, university, potentially even a master's or PhD. Why am I talking about learning? Oftentimes, we are never taught how to learn. And sometimes you need to accelerate your learning and figure out strategies to how you learn the best, because now that you're in practice, it's even harder to find time to learn and build yourself. So I will talk about learning strategies so you can start to define for yourself how you learn best. So then if you want to tackle on a new certification, tackling an exam, you're trying to learn a new task or new program, I will give you strategies to help you get there. I already mentioned the goal setting section, where I use the architecture registration exams as an example. You can also take this and put it towards the engineering exams for your FE and PE and figure out the steps and be able to break it down. You can also use it for the NCIDQ. I give you the tools to take this and adapt it to whatever way you need. We talk about responsibility and ownership of work. Oftentimes you are coming into practice and you have responsibilities on particular tasks. You may not feel that you have a grasp over the whole design of the larger project, but the teams are giving you responsibilities and ownerships of things to build trust and give you opportunities to learn. And so I'm going to go through and show you what those responsibilities are and how you can really focus your energy to build your own knowledge along the way and ownership of your work. The last part of this section is stress optimization and burnout. These I actually break up into 2 sections in the course. Stress optimization, where I talk about stress really isn't a bad thing. You can definitely use stress to funnel yourself into focused work and energy, and it's about understanding stress for yourself to be able to hone in. Have you ever noticed that architects work best when there's a deadline? If you don't give them a deadline, they don't have that stress pressure to move forward. Or you are pushing things right towards the deadline, which can make it extremely stressful and exhausting. You don't have to do that, and I'm not encouraging it, but just understanding, put little stressors in or add mini deadlines for yourself to hone in on your stress factor and learn about yourself. And finally, that big buzzword, burnout. I talk to you and explain to you what burnout is, the difference between stress, burnout, and depression, how to recognize burnout in others, and that there's actually 3 types of burnout. I've actually experienced 2 of them myself, and so I give you my personal stories and challenges through those processes. But I also am going to give you tips to figure out burnout for yourself, but also be able to recognize in your team. Oftentimes, it is very hard to see when you yourself are burnt out, but it can be really easy to see it in others. So being able to have that open communication to be able to point out when you feel a team member is burnt out and they may need to take time for themselves. And that is the end of the personal section. Moving on to the teamwork section, it's all about refocusing in on the team side of the profession. It takes a team to build buildings. It is a team that puts it together, and we need to build our teamwork skills to be able to be successful in our projects and have fun. So I talk about the we, not I concept. This is you're coming out of school, and it's generally yourself on presentations, presenting your work, and it's very easy to say I. Once you're in a firm, the firm has your back. Yeah, it's a little bit like a family, but it's really about the concept of they have your back. Whether it is your successes, your failures, your challenges, they're there to help you during the good times and the bad. So understanding this concept and how to leverage your firm to help teach yourself and help you through those challenging times. I talk about being adaptable in your career and how that is very important, especially early on as you grow. You are going to be on so many different teams. You're going to have different leaders ahead of you that have different organizational styles, and being adaptable to learning from each one of those mentors and adapting who you are in the career. I talk about communication strategies, not only between your teams, but also with users and clients. A lot of the times it's not always the words that come out of our mouth, it's the visual cues to be able to see when somebody actually wants to speak up and say something, but understanding how to communicate in different forms of communication. I talk about collaboration, how to collaborate on a team, and giving you tips and strategies to collaborate better. And then the final section is the feedback section, which this is the longest video, but I would recommend taking the time to go through it, and it ends with a feedback challenge. We are never taught how to give and receive feedback. So I will teach you how to give feedback to others, the different types of feedback, and how to receive feedback in a way that you won't be defensive. You should always be amenable to feedback, but understand if you may not be in the right headspace at that present moment for feedback, and ask for it again later. And then the challenge itself gets you out there to ask feedback on how you're doing. And if you're just starting out in a firm, you may want to pull this towards the end of your 90 days. But if you're not and you're already in the process, it's great to get started. And finally, it's about the organization as a whole. We're going to talk about time management strategies, how time is tracked within a firm, so your staff understands when there's hours allocated, when they need to raise their hand and understand if something may be an additional service to learn along the way. Team management, which a lot of young professionals have find, why do I need team management? I'm not leading a team right now. And it's perfectly fine. You need to start learning team management and how a team is managed so you can circle back with your team and understanding when you're receiving work and understanding priorities at the same time. Because if you get 2 pieces of information from different project managers and they have the same deadline, there's only so many hours in the day and something's got to give, or somebody else has to do one of those tasks if you can't complete both of them by that deadline. But you need to learn to advocate for yourself and understand how that team is managed. We're going to talk about networking. Regardless if you're an introvert or an extrovert, I give you tips and tricks to handle a room, no matter if you know nobody in the room or you have a handful of people and you don't want to just follow the same people you know. I give you tips and goal setting strategies to get through networking events so you can go in there and be able to be successful in whatever your goal is at the time. I also provide a networking challenge. This one is a little bit harder because it does depend what type of event you're going to, and you do need an event to occur to be able to do that. That challenge may be pushed to a little bit later, but at least setting those goals ahead of time. We're going to talk about visibility in a firm and visibility for yourself and visibility in the industry and how you can leverage organizations in your local community or the AEC industry as a whole to expand upon yourself, and it circles back into networking. We're also going to talk about advocating for yourself. You do need to advocate for yourself throughout your career, whether it is a particular project type, somebody you really admire and you want to be on their project team. If you don't speak up and learn to speak up, then you're not going to get those opportunities. If somebody doesn't know you want something, how are they going to help guide the decision making? Finally, I end the session with my favorite topic, mentoring. And I actually talk about how to create a board of directors. So then you can create a board that grows with you and you can adapt and change your board at any time. So that is the Build Your Foundation course, a little bit about what's in it. And I hope you guys are excited to dive in. So take a look at the links below where I give you access to the course. You can also check my website out where I give a sneak peek preview on one of the course sessions. So I hope you guys enjoy this video and I will see you over there.